Hello my friends, and sorry for this belated review. Yeah, as I said a couple weeks ago, these videos would be delayed a little while I was away at my cons. Still, I'm back in front of my PC, and now I'm gonna take a look at a Kirakira Precure episode where stuff actually happens. You know, I saw a lot of weird stuff on the streets of downtown Seattle, but this still takes the cake. Kind of literally. Following up on last week, Ichika is getting ready for the Sweets Festival along with all of her teammates. Unfortunately, her father also insists on tagging along to helicopter around her all day. Ichika firmly objects to this and tells him to leave her alone for the day. Hey, I don't blame you, Ichika. Considering that your old man is voiced by Kaiba, I'd hate to have to hear this all day. Still, Papa Kaiba wasn't one to give up on a challenge and secretly trailed behind. At the actual event, we get some nice callbacks from the previous episodes with a couple of the victims of the week stopping by the Precure stand, along with the alien girls from last week. Thankfully, their one scene was really short. And it doesn't take much before Ichika's dad decides to join in on the festivities and looks like one of those really bad strawberry shortcake knockoffs. Understandably, Ichika again tries to get rid of her father, outright saying he's embarrassing this time. Heartbroken that her daughter seems to be going through a rebellious phase, he quietly leaves, though not before buying a strawberry shortcake for her and the Precure as an apology. Though just as he's doing this, the masked boy from the opening, whom the credits name as Julio, finally makes a move and even recreates the scenes from that very same opening. He instantly calls in and powers up all of the MOTWs from the previous episodes, and even more surprisingly, he makes them seem kind of threatening by turning them into mindless killing machines. True, they're still not quite as scary as the fangirls, but at least they're taking things in the right direction. Thus, the resulting fights with each of the Precure actually come off as pretty damn awesome, both thanks to the great animation and the actual sense of danger felt from these monsters that look like they could legitimately hurt people. The sheer numbers prove too much for the Precure to be able to protect everyone, but then probably the most awesome moment of the entire season happens when Ichika's dad kicks the donut monkey right out of the air. Bad freaking ass, and he'd even use the blue eyes to do it. Sure, he's still too hard-headed to recognize his own daughter based on her voice and body build, but still good stuff. With Papa Kaiba on their side, Julio realizes things aren't going in his favor, so he decides to take a page out of his enemy's playbook and mixes the monsters together into one incredibly ridiculous clown ballerina thing. Okay, looks aside, the amalgamation of all the monsters proves to be more than a match for the Precure. Ichika's dad ends up getting caught in the middle when the amalgamation tries to take the cake he just bought. The Precure managed to rescue him before he suffers any serious injuries, and after seeing the lengths her father went to just to give her a cake, Ichika gains the second win she and her teammates desperately needed. They combine all the Kirakira born from everyone at the festival, surprisingly not even using a gimmicky glow stick this time, and form a new weapon, the Candy Rod. Kind of ironic that Ichika's father's efforts led to the creation of something that would likely lead to the tears of many real-life fathers across Japan right now. Anyway, using their new and insanely expensive candy canes, the team uses a pretty awesome new finisher. Yeah, it's a little silly that they're encasing a monster in a cake essentially, but hey, anything that reminds me of my favorite scene from the Rebellion story is A-OK in my book. They divide the amalgamation back into the 10 thieves, and surprisingly, they literally lighten up, as it turns out they were normal fairies whom the Precure just broke free from whatever mind control had been forced upon them. With the day saved, the Precure sit down to enjoy some slightly smushed strawberry shortcake, while Ichika gives her father one of the tarts they made, which he intends to shrine at his dojo, bacteria be damned. This episode was likely the end of this season's first major story arc, and in spite of some slight hiccups along the way, this was still a great conclusion that felt like it brought everything full circle. Remember, this anime started with Ichika trying to bake a cake for her mother, and now it was her father trying to give her a cake that led to their victory in this episode. As cheesy as it may sound, the importance of family is and always will be a major theme in many Toei productions, in particular Precure. And as someone who lives to help his family, that's something I appreciate. Ichika's father has quickly become one of my favorite side characters in any Precure series. He kicked a giant monkey out of the air. How many men can actually say they did something that insanely awesome? And while he is a bit of a helicopter parent, he still comes off as a good father, especially when you consider Ichika's mom is still out of the country. The callbacks in this episode also help to make it feel like the end of a major story arc, and hopefully the start of something a little better than what we got in these first 11 episodes, like actually some threatening villains for once. Took you long enough to get here, Julio. With my cons over for now, I'll be returning to my usual format and schedule starting next week. Until then though, farewell for now my friends, and don't forget to feed your giant tapeworms.